Great. Well, why don't we prepare to get started? Finding your seat, comfortable seated position. Making sure you have your pillows and props nearby, easily accessible. Landing in a comfortable seat, nice and straight spine. Landing your hands somewhere comfortable. And if it feels okay today, maybe inviting your eyes to close. Coming inward a bit and focusing on your breath. And landing here today in this present moment. Another Friday together. And as weeks have now turned into months, for me, this still remains a wonderful anchor and a connection. And I'm grateful to be here. So finding your breath and bringing some intentionality to that breath. And just breathing and noticing how your body feels. Noticing perhaps how your mood feels. And noticing how your breath feels. Fast or slow, without trying to control it just yet in any way, just noticing. And landing here, no matter what has already come to be today and what has gone on in the past week. Over these weeks that we've been together, there has been so much. But this is a space for us to check back in. And today I'm going to invite us to focus on self. Because there's so much going on around us, in our community, in our world. But it's also so important to keep checking back in with self. And any work that we do has to begin with self-inquiry and self-care. So today, through the practice, I invite you to give extra attention to yourself. And later in the practice, we're going to do some work to start to begin to perhaps create a mantra for ourselves. But to begin, we'll focus, as we always do, on our breath. Breathing in together, inhaling, filling belly, filling chest, really feeling the expanding as you inhale. And then together, exhaling. And maybe by starting, inhaling through the nose, filling belly, filling chest, and then opening your mouth and exhaling, letting it out. One more time that way, inhaling through nose, opening mouth and exhaling. Maybe you can hear your own breath nice and loud as you exhale. This time let's do the same, but in through the nose, out through the nose, and see if you can still hear that exhale. Breathing in through nose, filling belly, filling chest, and then exhale through the nose. And again, in that way, inhaling, filling belly, filling chest, and out through the nose. Exhale. One more time, inhaling through your nose, And exhale through your nose. And next we'll invite a little movement with our breath. You can begin to open your eyes and have just a loose gaze, or feel free to keep them closed if that feels good too, because this is familiar. But as we inhale, inhaling your arms up, reaching tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. And again, inhaling arms up, breathing in. Exhale, hands to heart center. And 2 more times in this way. Inhaling arms up. Exhale, heart center. And once more, inhaling arms up. Exhale, heart center. This time, inhaling arms up, and then we do our twist. So twisting to our right side, bringing that left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you, grasping the chair or propping you up on the floor. And the focus as you inhale is on lengthening your spine, getting nice and tall. And the focus on the exhale is your twist. So maybe even the tiniest bit more of release into that twist on the exhale. And if it feels comfortable, you can bring your gaze over the back shoulder, or just land where it feels good today. And again, on your inhale, focusing on lengthening spine, getting nice and tall. And on the exhale, twist. And the difference may not be very noticeable at all, but bringing the attention to the lengthening and to the twist on the exhale invites in the opening and the lengthening. And as always, staying rooted in the breath, being very intentional about your breath. And on your next inhale, inhaling arms up to center, reaching tall. And then on your exhale, going to the other side. So twisting to the left, landing right hand on left knee, left hand grabbing that chair or landing on the ground behind you. Inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to twist. Rooting in your breath, being very intentional in that breath. And then on an inhale, inhaling those arms back up to the sky, and exhaling, hands to heart center. Landing your hands and then maybe doing some circles just to open up your shoulders, one direction, then the other. Doesn't have to be any particular way, just inviting in some movement. And then maybe the wrists, one direction and the other. And just inviting in that movement. Landing hands. And as you're ready, we're going to come to our tabletop position. So swinging both your legs around and coming onto hands and knees, wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. Nice solid position. And if you're in a chair, sitting nice and tall, both feet on the floor, both knees in front of you. And inviting in our cat-cow movements. So on an inhale, lifting the chest, dropping the belly, lifting the hips. And on an exhale, arching the back, dropping the chest, dropping the hips. And flowing in that way with your breath. And follow the pace of your breath, whatever that is in this moment. And maybe play with it a little. See what it feels like to quicken your breath and move a little faster. Or maybe see what it feels like to really draw it out and take nice, slow, exaggerated inhales and exhales. And just noticing, but no matter what you're doing, making sure that you're breathing and you're breathing continually and that you're connecting that movement to the breath. Slow or fast. Just noticing how that feels. And then when you're ready, landing back to your steady tabletop position. Nice inhale and exhale here. And then we'll come to our balance. So as you're doing the balance, again, hands below shoulders, knees below hips, inviting your right arm forward and your opposite leg, so your left leg back. Coming to your toes and balancing here, or lifting up. And making sure that you are breathing, connecting this to your breath, the inhale and the exhale. Once again, inhale and exhale. And then landing back down. And then we'll come to the other side. So left arm, right leg. Maybe raising up and connecting with your breath. Making sure you're breathing, because it's in moments like this that are challenging, where we're balancing and stretching, that we tend to hold our breath. And that's also kind of a metaphor for life more generally. And then release. So it's so important to practice. Other side, right arm and left leg. Practice in controlled settings like this, connecting to our breath and being intentional about our breath. We can do it in hard poses. Then we'll have that tool when hard things come up. And release. Landing, and then other side. So left arm, right leg. Breathing. And landing. And then we'll do it one more time each side with the option, as we've done in the past, to invite the crunch if you want to try that. So again, right arm, left leg. You can lift that leg. And then if you'd like to try, inviting the elbow and the knee to meet in the middle underneath you. Again, continuing to breathe, not holding our breath. Then straightening back out, arm forward, leg back. And then landing. Maybe taking another full set of breath here before we do the other side. The inhale and the exhale. And then other side. So left arm, right leg. Maybe bringing that leg up. And then maybe inviting elbow and knee to meet in the middle in a crunch. Staying rooted to your breath. Straightening back out. And then landing. And taking a breath here in our table, the inhale and exhale. And then pushing back, coming to your child's pose. Hips back towards feet. Knees can be as close or far apart as feels good today. Arms reaching out in front of you. And landing here in your child's pose. Connecting back to your breath. Or if you're in a chair, landing in your seat, maybe inviting your eyes to close, reflecting for a moment. And as I said, today we're going to focus on self and on self-inquiry, reflection in. And later in the practice, we're going to talk about finding a mantra. But I want us to reflect throughout on the importance of self-care and recognizing that showing up for practices like this is self-care, and it's not selfish. It's in fact very, very important, and it's an important piece of sustaining us in the work we want to do in the world. And as we breathe here for a moment, I'm just going to read a bit from Justin Michael Williams, who I've shared before. And he says, "We are warriors for peace, warriors for love, warriors for change, warriors for equality. But we must also tend to the wars within. When you do not care for yourself, you internalize the same oppression that you are fighting against. When you are exhausted, your capacity for compassion is limited. When you are out of alignment, it is hard to make the right choices, especially when you're under pressure. I know you are spending time organizing and leading and marching, defending, protesting, bringing people together. I know it might feel like taking time for your self-care is stealing valuable time away from doing the actual work. But we need our warriors bright, and not just for your own sake. This care of self is so fundamental. You've all chosen to be here today, so you're taking that important step. But perhaps reflect too on how you can invite this into your life every single day. This practice of daily disciplines of self-care to guide you and sustain you. Inviting in another intentional breath, a deep inhale and deep exhale. And then as you feel ready, pushing back up, landing to our tabletop. Setting up that solid table. And then we'll invite in some opening of our shoulders, so threading of the needle. So on an inhale, inviting that right arm up to the sky, And again, we'll flow twice and then land on the third time. So exhale, threading that arm through. Inhale, right arm to sky. Exhale, threading through. Inhaling, arm to sky. Exhale, threading through. And if it feels good, landing. So landing shoulder and landing cheek to mat. And you can use pillows or blocks for your head if that feels better. Inhaling and exhaling. Again, inhale and exhale. And then on your next inhale, inviting that arm back up to the sky. And then landing on the mat. Inhale and exhale here to center ourselves. And then other side. So inhaling that left arm up to the sky. Exhale, threading through. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, threading through. Inhale, up. Exhale, threading through. And if it feels good, landing. Head, shoulder to the mat. Rooting yourself in your breath. One more intentional breath in. Intentional breath out. And then on your next inhale, inviting that left arm back up to the sky. And then landing. Maybe you push back into one more child's pose. Rooting to your breath. And then as you're ready, taking your own time, pushing your way back up and coming to a standing position at the front of your mat. Building our nice, strong standing pose from the ground up. So rooting your feet, making sure your feet are nice and firmly rooted to the ground. Engaging your lower legs, thinking about pulling your muscles into the bones. Engaging your upper legs, your thighs, really inviting them in. Pulling your legs up and in, almost as if you're pulling them into your hip sockets. Pulling your belly into your spine. Envisioning a nice, long, extended spine. Shoulders maybe roll up and back. And taking a breath here, nice inhale. And exhale. And then we'll flow from this position. So from this strongly rooted standing pose together, we'll invite our arms up on an inhale, coming overhead. And on an exhale, folding forward, folding over our legs. Inhale, coming to your flat back. So again, your hands can land on your shins, on your thighs, or stay on the ground, whatever it is, but You want your back to be really flat and your eyes are looking just ahead of your mat to the ground. So you have a nice, long, straight spine. So this is your flat back. And then on your next exhale, you fold forward again. Landing here, letting your head release. Maybe shaking the head a little bit, back and forth, side to side. Feeling that release. And then on your inhale, rising tall, arms coming overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. And then we continue to flow like this with our breath. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Again, focusing on rooting in your breath. Nice deep breaths. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rising, arms overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. And 2 more times in this way. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, rising. And exhale, hands to heart center. 1 more time together. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, rising tall, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just taking a nice deep breath here. Inhale and exhale. And 1 more time, inhale and exhale. And just noticing. Noticing how you feel. Perhaps scanning your body. Again, as always, as a researcher, just collecting data, not making a judgment, just noticing. And then letting that go. And then taking another energizing breath in. Deep exhale out. As we prepare for our warrior series. So our strength series here, maybe inviting both hands to your hips. And we'll start with the right leg. So from the top of your mat, stepping your right leg back and setting yourself up. That back foot is to an angle. Find what angle feels good. Your feet are a bit of a distance apart for balance. Your front foot, the toes are facing forward. Just taking the time to set this up. Front leg is bent and back leg is straight. And you should feel nice and strong and solid here. And then to begin, both hips face forward. So face over that front leg. And then once you land, inviting your arms up. And this is your warrior one. Inhale. And exhale. And then opening up to warrior two. So now that back arm goes back, front arm is forward. Both hips are facing now more towards the side. Checking back, making sure that back arm is nice and straight out of your shoulder. Then looking over your front arm, your gaze is over that front middle finger. Front knee bent, back leg straight, nice and strong. Everyone looks great. Inhale and exhale. And then flipping that front palm, dropping your back arm, we reverse the warrior. So keeping the bend in the leg, straight back leg. And again, if you ever need a break, you can just straighten the front leg, come back into the bend. We're reversing our warrior, leaning back. Rooting in your breath. Again, don't stop breathing. And inhaling back up to warrior two. Inhale and exhale. And now to our side angle. So bringing that front forearm down to your bent leg, right onto the thigh, and then inviting your top arm up. So it's in a nice long line with your body over your ear. Side angle. Again, rooting in the breath, the inhale and the exhale, making sure that you don't move away from the breath or hold the breath. Focusing, number one, on breathing. And then inhaling back to warrior two. Nice and strong. Inhale and exhale. And perhaps landing hands to hips and stepping back up to the top of your mat. Maybe giving the legs a little wiggle and landing here. Nice breath in and out. And then we take it to the other side. So from the front of your mat, stepping back with the left leg. Back leg is straight, foot out to an angle, front leg is bent, knee is over that ankle. To start, both of your hips are facing in a forward direction, and then inviting your arms up. Warrior one. Inhale and exhale. And then on an inhale, opening back up to warrior two. Inhaling and exhaling. Keeping that nice bend in the front leg, nice strong back leg. Now we flip that front hand, drop our back hand, and reverse our warrior. Again, not holding the breath, but focusing on that intentional inhale and exhale. Inhaling back to warrior two. Inhale and exhale. And then our side angle, so bringing that forearm to the front bent leg. Inhaling that top arm up over your ear, nice long line. Inhale and exhale very intentionally. Don't hold on to that breath. And then on an inhale, lifting back to our warrior two. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. One more time, inhale and exhale. And then bringing hands to hips and stepping back to the top of your mat. Maybe giving the legs a little wiggle and then building that nice, strong standing pose. Feet firmly rooted, standing nice and tall, legs engaged, spine engaged, maybe rolling the shoulders back. Landing here, maybe inviting your eyes to close for a moment if that feels comfortable, and checking in. Notice how you feel after that very strong series. Maybe noticing how you feel different from earlier in the practice. Again, not judging, just noticing. And breathing. And then we come to our balance. So staying strongly rooted through that left leg, inviting in lightness to the right leg. And coming to wherever our tree is going to land today. You can do your kickstand, coming to your lower leg, reaching down and bringing your foot to your upper leg. Wherever you feel like you want to land today. Maybe starting with hands on hips for balance. And then once you're where you're going to land, inviting your hands to heart center. Inviting a very intentional inhale. And exhale. And notice how your tree moves as you breathe. And maybe your tree grows, inviting your hands up. Inhale and exhale. And then back through heart center and release. And for a moment, noticing, maybe noticing you feel a little out of balance, doing one side and not having done the other side yet. Just noticing. And then starting to root firmly through that right leg, inviting lightness to the left, coming to wherever you're going to land for the day. And then when you're there, inviting hands to heart center, the inhale, and exhale. And maybe growing the tree. Arms overhead. Maybe steady, maybe flowing in the breeze. Either way is okay. As long as you are breathing. And then hands back through heart center. And release. And one more time, just landing here, noticing, taking an intentional breath, inhale, and exhale. And then in your own way, making your way back to your mat, coming to a seated position on your mat with your legs out in front, nice tall back. And we're going to do our forward fold. So again, you can have any props you want. If you want to have a strap or a towel or a belt to put around your feet, you can. If you want to build up a big pillow or bolster here and come forward on that, you can do that. Whatever you want to try today, but nice and tall, lifting chest, leading with chest, and coming forward with as straight a back as possible. So again, you might not go down very far at all, but coming forward, either using your strap or landing hands on thighs or shins, or maybe grabbing feet, whatever feels good for today, but coming forward with that straight back. Perhaps closing your eyes if that feels okay. Shutting off that extra sense so you can just let yourself release into this pose. Folding forward with a nice straight back. Coming to your breath. The inhale and the exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. And you may notice on the exhales that maybe you have a little, even the tiniest amount more release into the pose on that exhale. And then as you're ready on an inhale, now you can roll forward, drop your head, and kind of roll up one vertebra at a time, bringing your head up last. And then from there, we are going to come to lying on our mats. So coming to laying down on the mat. Again, you can do all of this seated in your chair as well. Bringing your feet to the mat. Both feet on the mat, knees pointed up to the ceiling. And then from here, inviting your right ankle up onto the left thigh. And as always, you can land here, and this can be the pose for today. Or you can invite your arms to reach around that left thigh, pulling both of your legs towards your body, towards your chest. Both of your feet are flexed. And landing here, breathe in. And then as you're ready, releasing, hugging both those knees into the chest. Maybe rocking a little side to side or back and forth. Maybe some circles with the knees. Rolling into that lower part of the back. And then when you're ready, landing both feet back on the ground. Both knees to the ceiling. And taking it to the other side. So bringing that left ankle up over right thigh, landing here, if that's enough of a hip opening for today, or maybe inviting hands around that right thigh and pulling both legs towards the chest, both feet in a flexed position. Rooting yourself in your breath. And then as you're ready, inhaling both knees to the chest, rocking a little bit. And then we're gonna land in what looks like a tree pose, but lying on our backs on the ground. So straightening that left leg out, down long to the mat, and bringing the sole of your right foot either to your lower leg or to your thigh, and letting that right knee Just kind of fall over to the side. So it looks like you are in a tree pose, but you're lying on the mat. And then as you're ready, hugging both knees into the chest. Maybe rocking a little bit. And coming to the other side. So right leg lengthens down the mat. Left sole of foot comes to your right leg. And left knee falls open. And then as you're ready, hugging both knees into the chest. Maybe a little rock again. And we're going to come now to our inversion. So our waterfall pose, or legs up the wall. Again, you can grab a block or a prop, a pillow. And if you have a prop, land both feet on the ground, knees up to the sky, lift the hips and put the props underneath you, and then land your hips on them, like so. And then invite your legs up to the sky. You can also do this without the prop, or if you're near a wall, you can slide up next to the wall and invite your feet up the wall. Breathing intentionally, the inhale and the exhale. And then taking your time, releasing. If you have props, landing both feet on the ground, knees to the sky, lifting hips, removing that. Now we're going to do a couple bridge poses. And if you want, you could do a single bridge pose and again, land a block under your hips and just stay there with the block underneath. Otherwise, we start with our arms by our side, feet on the ground, knees pointing up to the sky. And then we press into our feet, lifting our hips. So lifting your hips up to the sky, kind of up towards your knees, pressing actively into your feet. Keeping your head looking straight up. If you want, you can invite your arms under your body and grasp your hands together, or you can just have them flat by your side, and then releasing, rolling down one vertebra at a time. And then resting a moment, taking a nice deep inhale and exhale. And we'll do one more. So pushing into your feet, lifting hips. And then slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time. Hugging your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice big hug. And now we're going to make our way into our relaxation meditation pose. So you can come again straight to laying on your back or belly, or if for the meditation piece you want, you can build your bolster, heart opening bolster that we've been doing. So stacking multiple pillows or rolled up blankets. Again, remember you're bringing that bolster to your hips and then coming to lie back on it. So you may need extra pillows here, but finding a way that's comfortable. If you have nice long pillows, I like stacking one and then propping the other on it, but make sure your head is supported too. And make sure it doesn't feel like too much opening. So coming to land in this comfortable, restful place, we're going to do our mantra work from here. So taking some time to make sure you are comfortable. Your arms can be out to the side, opening up, palms to ceiling. Your legs can be straight out, down your mat with your feet kind of flopping open. Or you could invite both of the soles of your feet to meet and your knees flop out. And again, if you choose this, you can choose how far your feet are from your body. That will impact the strength on the hips, of the opening on the hips. So just try maybe some different spots and see what feels good. Again, palms open to the sky. And if this isn't working today, just roll over, pull those bolsters out, and come to lying on a restful position on your back. But take a moment here to find this, to make it comfortable. And as I said at the beginning of the class today, our focus is on self-inquiry, self-care, being very intentional about that. And as I mentioned, we're going to start working on finding a mantra for ourselves. And a mantra is a thought tool. And it is something that can help us bring focus and intention. It's not an affirmation. It's not anything that needs to be complicated. And it doesn't need to be in a different language or Sanskrit or anything. The mantra for you can be absolutely anything. And you want it to be personal, something that you connect with. So ahead of what I'm going to offer next, I will say, don't worry if you don't find your mantra today. Sometimes we need to play around with this a little bit to find something that sticks. So this is just the beginning of a journey and testing this out. So today, I'm going to guide you through a practice that is offered by Justin Michael Williams in his book on meditation. And this is just one way to find a mantra, and I find his work to be very accessible. So we'll start here today and try that. So staying in your comfortable position, and as I guide you through this attempt to seek a mantra, if you are on a bolster and want to roll that to the side, do that at any point. Just make sure you're comfortable and you find that comfortable spot. So again, always rooting yourself in your breath, landing here. And we're just experimenting. We're trying this out. So close your eyes if that feels comfortable and if they're not already closed. And imagine a ball of energy in front of you. This ball of energy is your own personal source of power. It has the power to heal all of your pain, fix all of your problems, and bring you into full alignment with your highest self. It is unique to you and can be any color, any shape, and any size. It can be translucent, shimmery and sparkly, or dense and dark. There is no right or wrong way to imagine it. Remember, you don't have to visually see it to imagine it. Take as much or as little time as you need to get a clear experience of the energy ball in your mind. Now bring forth that same ball of energy, but this time we're going to incorporate the breath. Take long, slow, deep breaths in through your mouth and out through your nose. On each inhale, pretend that you're sucking the essence of your energy ball as if you're sucking it in through a straw. Imagine you're sucking through a straw or inhaling through an inhaler. Don't be afraid to make some noise while you do this. As you inhale through your mouth, imagine the energy of your energy ball entering your body. As you exhale through your nose, the energy is spread further and deeper through your system. Take several breaths. As you breathe, the ball continues to replenish itself with an endless source of energy. It is limitless. With each breath, the energy fills every crevice of your inner body with its magic. It is perfect for you. It fills you up like a gas tank with exactly what you need in your life right now. Now, using 1, 2, or 3 words in the language of your choice, name the type of energy your ball is made of. What is it filling you up with? Go with the first answer that comes to mind. Find those words that describe your energy ball. Again, it could be one word or it could be a short phrase. And land on that. Hold it. Repeat it in your head. And don't second guess yourself. Just go with what came to mind first. Okay, today we're just practicing. But that word or phrase is your mantra. Again, repeat that to yourself a couple of times. And just notice how that feels. And then coming back with intention to your breath. The inhale and the exhale. Inviting in some movement, fingers and toes, hands and feet. And as you're ready, with no rush at all, making your way back to a seated position together. If you have props, rolling to the side and moving them aside. If you're lying on your back or your belly, maybe just rolling to the side and resting there for a moment. A nice deep breath before coming back up to seated. And no rush at all, but everyone meeting together as we started in our nice, tall, seated position. Maybe inviting hands to heart center. And ending our time together with 2 breaths. Breathing in and out. And again, in and out. Thank you all for being here. Maybe taking some time this week to experiment around with that mantra you created today. Play around with it. Say it to yourself at different points in the day, or maybe do some breaths while saying it to yourself. Little meditation or restful work, and seeing how it fits. And again, don't judge it. Don't push it away. Don't think, well, this isn't spiritual enough or this isn't important enough. You may want to change it eventually, but see if you can spend some time this week with what came up first and play around with that and just experiment. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.
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 Namaste. Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.